unpopular opinion. Liverpool may be adding too much. Now, selling Luis Díaz to me in this situation doesn't make sense. Unless I'll get to that in a minute. But Luis Díaz was playing on the left hand side. He was, near world class for Liverpool. And now they've kind of brought in a striker in which, last season they had a similar problem as Arsenal, even though they won the league. Darwin Nunez wasn't clinical, so they had Dominic come in and play as a false nine with Luis Diaz and Salah being able to score enough to be able to kind of pass over them not having a number 9 somehow in a way that Man City had done throughout previous years. And now they went out and bought Ekitike for 95 million. But they've just sold Luis Diaz. So now we've got Salah, Ekitike, and then on the left-hand side, maybe Gakpo or Chiesa, who knows, but they have a left-hand side availability now that they've sold Luis Diaz for around 75 million. But Liverpool, instead of going in on Rodrygo, right? Signing Rodrygo, which he is right now the player that you could say is on the transfer market. He's already known to be on the lookout for a new project because Real Madrid want nothing to do with him. He wants to play on the left-hand side, and Real Madrid rather see Mbappe or Vinicius on the left-hand side. He does not want to see himself on the right-hand side in the near future of his, career. He wants to officially play in his natural position. Now, he's done this on, I feel like, a little too late because Arsenal and Chelsea, two other teams that needed a left, forward, have kind of already brought in guys like Estevao, Giddens, Madueke. They haven't sold Trossard or Martinelli, so Rodrygo's kind of impossible for those teams. And then Liverpool, they've got Ekitike, they've got Wirtz, they've signed Frimpong, they signed Kirkes. This is, it was building up to a great transfer window. They're spending lots of money, but now the Isak, they're heavily linked to Isak now. And to me, this doesn't make sense because if you add Isak to replace Luis Diaz, another striker, after spending a 95 million on Ekitike, now I'm wondering, how does Isak and Ekitike fit? And to me, it's looking like this. Mbappe, Vinicius, and Rodrygo all playing the same position, all naturally the same position, trying to fit in a front three with Jude Bellingham. That's what Wirtz, Isak, Ekitike, and Salah on the same team starting looks to me. And you're going to tell me Liverpool spent near 100 million for a young striker and they're not going to start him, and then they're going to spend over 100 million on Isak and not play him? The only way you could possibly see this, people are saying Liverpool are going to go to a 4-4-2, but Liverpool have too many good midfielders to be going to a 4-4-2. So to me, it's looking like possibly Isak maybe moving to the left-hand side. But I feel like this is where Isak also did something similar to Rodrygo, where he took too long to officially put in that transfer request because as well, teams like Chelsea, teams like Arsenal, obviously United's not in the mix, but these type of teams, they needed a striker. Isak kept quiet. Then even Liverpool, he kept quiet. Everybody signed a striker. Ekitike, Gyökeres, João Pedro and Delap. And then he puts his transfer request. So to me, it's just like, why so late? Why after everybody's made a signing? It just doesn't make sense. It's not clocking to me. And to me, signing Isak to this Liverpool team is going to kill the balance that Liverpool had last season, in my eyes, because, you end up losing to PSG, who won the Champions League. So it's not like you were so far away from the Champions League, even though you were eliminated in the round of 16. So Liverpool should lean towards Rodrygo, in my opinion, before they go to Isak. I understand Isak's a world-class talent, and so is Rodrygo, but Rodrygo fits on the team at left wing. You signed Ekitike already for 95 million. You have Salah. To me, unless you're planning on putting Isak on the left wing and see how he, kind of adapts to that, then I don't see why you sell Luis Diaz. If anything, if you sign Rodrygo, your backup front three is going to be Darwin Nunez, Cody Gakpo, and Chiesa instead of, having this kind of mix. I just don't understand this mix right here. It's giving Real Madrid last season where it's just super unbalanced, There's going to be nobody on the left-hand side, ironically, and everybody's going to be on the right-hand side. That's what it looks to me, because to me, Ekitike and Isak wouldn't be able to fit in the formation that Liverpool was using last year, unless you're gonna completely change the whole system. But you're not really gonna be spending close to 100 million on a backup striker after signing Alexander Isak and putting Gakpo on the left. To me, it's just it wouldn't make sense unless you're planning on putting Wirtz on the left. Isak and Ekitike on the. I don't know. It's just a lot of investment for a young bench striker, in my opinion. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. If you're Liverpool, would you rather sign Isak or Rodrygo for that close to 100 million? I mean, Isak's gonna be well over the 100 million, but I feel like Rodrygo you can get him for 80, 90 million. And he would better adapt on the left hand side. And then you have a backup for every single forward in Darwin Nunez, Chiesa, and Cody Gakpo with Rodrygo, Ekitike, and Salah. And then you got Wirtz and Dominic to be flip flopping. So to me, it makes more sense to kind of go with Rodrygo. But anyways, thank you guys for watching.